Hi, I've been gone for a really long time, and we are going to talk about it while I make this cute little figurine in the background. If you want to skip straight to the book club part of this video, you can. Oh yeah, I've definitely been reading during this absence of mine. But you can skip to the timestamp on screen. All right, let's get started. Okay, so last year I started trying to get more serious about posting and I loved it. At the time, everything was kind of falling into place and doing really good. My home life was good, mental was good, everything was nice, and then it kind of wasn't. I started feeling like I was only really creating to post and I wasn't working at the time, so my mental kind of took a dive. And then it kind of got worse when my younger sister moved out. So I did what I needed to do and I just stopped cold turkey. I put a little bit more effort into searching for a job and focusing back on me. I was still creating, just not like for YouTube and stuff, and that's when it kind of felt a bit more like things were getting into place. If you didn't know, I am 25 and I just really haven't figured out what's supposed to be like my, for real job, quote unquote. But while I was working at the cafe that I work at now, I felt like I could do something like that. And like nowadays, I think I don't necessarily want just a cafe, but I do want like coffee involved or like a craft store. I would like to own like a physical store, but in general, I would just love to wake up every day and to create and to that be how I get my living and stuff. So, yeah, I am still working on an online shop in the background, but that's kind of it for right now. Okay, so now that I've explained myself, let's get into the books. Because even though I've definitely been reading during this time, I do need to pick up the speed a bit if I am going to beat last year's count of 26. Which I don't know why I feel like the audiobooks were stopping me from reading. I don't really know where that came from. I think I just missed having physical books in my hand, but I digress. So the first book that I read and completed at the beginning of the year was Thieves by Lucy Bryant. This was a really cute book and I liked it because for me, miscommunication is one of the things I kind of hate the most. But in this one, it was done pretty well. It was one of those things where it only affected them because they were young and emotions ran really high in this book, but it was still like really good. It was really cute. The pacing was nice. I finished it pretty soon, honestly. I think maybe a couple of hours, but it was very cute. I like that they returned everything as well as them just kind of figuring it out and getting it together. It was very cute. Okay, and next, even though I've definitely seen this title a bunch of times, I still haven't quite learned how to pronounce it. But The Hills of Estella Rosa by Ashley Robin Franklin. This was a really good book that, for me, felt like it had kind of like a hidden plot, and I really liked it. I do like how the mistake she made actually brought her closer with her mom and how they like all kind of came together as a family to resolve it. It was great visuals, good read, and good pacing. So, yeah, it was really good. I also know that I keep forgetting to add ratings to this, but in truth, I didn't feel the need to rate anything until a couple of books in. Next up is Ghost Roast by sisters Schwanel and Shane, I'm so sorry, Gibbs, and it's illustrated by Emily Cannon and Ashway A. Taddon. I'm so sorry, I tried to pronounce this beforehand, and I didn't do a very good job. But anyway, I like this book. It was cute. I know that there's definitely some out there, but currently the black paranormal slash sci-fi space is giving a bit more horror and thriller. This one was like pretty light and joyful. Granted, that may have also had something to do with the fact that she was only 16. I think mostly what I didn't like about the book was how, I don't know, it gave very stereotypical swirl, right? And great, and I'm gonna say that because the white boy is dead. Not to be mean or anything, but he was like an 18th century white boy who was also mixed. It was very predictable if you know the platform and the story of stories like this. But like I said, it was still light. It was joyful. It was cute. And like, even though, yeah, they're the parents are separated, but it wasn't for like, oh, he's a deadbeat dad. No, it's just he's very much a dreamer that lives in his own world, and she just had to let him go because the real life kicks in and is a bitch. But it was super cute. I did enjoy it. I'm not sure how much I would have picked it up again, but if I need to just relax and want to read something, it's definitely not a problem. All right. Next up is Youth Group by Bowen McCurdy, and I believe illustrated by Joda Morris. So I was actually surprised by this book. It made me laugh far more than I thought it would, and it had a good message without being preachy. It was more diverse than some religious books out now. I digress. But it was pretty good, right? It was another lighthearted read, just something to like go in. It had great visuals, and it was definitely something interesting. I think my favorite part was how she still kept her personal opinions even towards the end of the book, right? It's like you've been through these huge changes, you've done so much, but you're still, who you are, and you still have questions and stuff. It didn't like magically change it or make it disappear, and I love that so much. All right. And now we are getting into Nimona. This is starting to be some of our more recent books. I don't have to say too much about Nimona. Most of us, if not all of us, have seen the movie. However, I will say that the book added a great amount of detail and did get a bit deeper into the story. The visuals were just as good, the plot just as good. It definitely had a bit of a slower pacing, along with she didn't necessarily turn to the shark as often as I thought she would in the book. But again, right, amazing read. I would definitely pick it up if you can. It's so cute and it is wonderful. And lastly, at least for catching up to June, we have a book that I feel like I really should have DNF'd, but didn't. And I'm gonna tell you why. The first line in this notebook, along with in the writing book and the thought that I have, is that I feel negatively neutral about this book. As in, I definitely didn't like it. I won't say that I hate it either, though. It had its moments. Have you ever stood next to somebody and felt like they searched up a bunch of term words or like clickbait words to make you interested and then just threw it all together or threw it at you? That's kind of how this book made me feel. And not to say that like, oh, the plot wasn't bad, but I felt like the writing struggled with trying too hard to be relatable, along with everything that could have easily been solved with a simple. I've already stated that miscommunication is one of my worst things that I can see in a book, especially in its adults. And the issue here is that homie was 30. Okay, maybe if this was like a YA book, or if I was still reading some younger books, I could have let it slide. But it played such a big part of it. Was literally the mystery we're going for, and then that wasn't like even a huge part of the story. I could have done without it, and I just could have done without it. Okay, and that is all we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching till the end, and or even just tuning into the book club part. In other news, I do also have a fable that I will put here on the screen, along with I also am working on. Well, I finished one story. I'm working on a second story. These stories are personally 21 and up, but the government does say 18 and up. So I will let you know when they are finished and when they are posted, and if you would like to give those a read. But all in all, thank you guys so much. I am so glad to be back and to be feeling like myself again. And I will see you all next week. Thank you. Bye.